Today we'll be talking about some new goodies from BellaBeauteBar that are going to be released Friday, November 17th, the day this is going to be uploaded at 12 p.m. EST. So we have the Bejeweled eyeshadow palette, and then 6 holographic shadows that are available as singles. And these were all sent to me in PR, so thank you so much to BellaBeauteBar for sending these to me to try out and review. And I am an affiliate with the brand, so if you use my affiliate code SEEKINGSHIFTS, you will save 10% on your purchase, and I do earn a small commission. So thank you so much for the support if you do choose to use my code. So let's talk first about the eyeshadow palette. So this is actually going to be available for $55 as like a pre-Black Friday special, and you can stack an affiliate code on top of it. So if you're interested in this palette, it's actually a pretty good deal. Okay, so the normal price is $69 USD, but for 24 hours starting at 12 p.m. EST on Friday, November 17th, it will be at a special price of $55, like an introductory deal. This palette contains 20 eyeshadows. Well, mine contains 19 now, but it contains 20 eyeshadows, and there are 10 mattes, 9 special shades, and then there's like a sequin shade, like, you know, the ColourPop sequin shades. There's one like that, Phantom Quartz. So I'll have swatches up on the screen of all of those. This is a pretty like straightforward jewel tone color story. So this is very much outside of my comfort zone. Like if you watch a lot of my videos, you know I tend to lean towards the spicy neutrals, the like desaturated, muted color stories. Often describe them as like murky paint watercolors. So these are like very saturated, very vibrant jewel tones. So I'm definitely not the target demographic for this, but I wanted to give you some close-up swatches so if you're interested that you know exactly what you're getting. So in the first row, we have the shades Emerald and Amazonite. I'm so sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that. Don't come for me. Emerald is like a true emerald green. I don't really see any shifts. And then Amazonite is like a green, teal, blue, purple shifting shade. It has like a gray base and it's got a little bit of sparkle and texture to it. And then in the next row, we have 3 special shades. So we have Alexandrite, which is actually a really unique tone. It's like a very deep, almost blackened indigo, and then it shifts to like a red and gold. Very interesting. Then we have Opal, which is like a wet look gray base shade, and it shifts from blue to purple. Then we have the shade Blue Sapphire, which is like such a striking primary blue, very vibrant. It is a little bit more of a satin finish, but it's so vibrant. It's just beautiful. This is a great one for layering. Then in the next row, we have 2 shades. We have Ametrine and Kunzite. So Ametrine is like a deep purpley indigo, and it has a bunch of different colored flecks of sparkle in it. And then Kunzite is like a true mid-tone purple, and it shifts to gold. Then in the bottom row, we have a shade called Star Ruby, which is absolutely stunning. It is such a... I've been like on a quest for a true red shiny eyeshadow, and this I think might check all the boxes. It is so vibrant and so red. It's just absolutely striking on the eyes. And then we have the shade Red Obsidian, which is a new type of multichrome we've seen in a couple recent palettes. This is so shiny, so shifty, and I will definitely have comparisons towards the end of the video, but if you don't have something like this in your collection, you will love it. Like, I can't think of anyone who wouldn't love this type of multichrome. It is just so beautiful. So let's talk about these single shadows. These are going to be $17 each, and you can use an affiliate code to save 10% on them. So these, as far as I can tell, they're not shifty. They're just like holographic shades. And so we have first Ruby Hollow, which is like a true ruby red with a bunch of different colored flecks of hollow. This is not as intense of a red as the eyeshadow in the eyeshadow palette, but it's still like a very true primary red. Like, it doesn't lean too warm or too cool. Then we have one of my personal favorites. This is called Halo Hollow. This is like the most striking. It looks like liquid gold. It is so, so beautiful. So shiny, like so foiled and reflective. Absolutely stunning. And this is just like a almost olive leaning gold. And then it has a bunch of different hollow flecks in it. It has a little bit of texture in it, but it smooths out to this beautiful metallic finish. Emerald Hollow. This is a true emerald green, and this is a little bit on the flaky side, but again, it just smooths out to this insanely foiled and reflective finish. Next up, we have Sapphire Hollow. This is like an indigo. Again, a little bit on the flakier side, but it smooths out beautifully, and it's just a really vibrant indigo. Then we have Wonderland Hollow. This one is another one that this is absolutely stunning. It's kind of like a semi-translucent, almost iridescent teal. And then it has like all the different hollow flecks in it. It kind of like, it's giving like snow globe vibes. I don't know if it's because of the name or like the colors in it. Gonna be so pretty for like a wintry eye look. And then we have Just Hollow. This is like literally just the hollow particles. This one feels a little bit drier and flakier than the others. I think I haven't used this on my eye yet, so please remember that this is just a first impression. Don't take this as like the final review on these products. This, based on just like dipping my finger in it and swatching it, I can just tell it's going to be one that you're going to want to use a tacky base for. But I think it will be just like absolutely insane disco ball on your eyes. Let me know which one of these you want to see used in a Reels tutorial first, because I am like dying to get one of these on my eyes. I just don't even know where to start. They're all so pretty. Okay, so let's get into the 2 looks I did with this palette. Okay, so this first look is a journey. This is the definition of trust the process. But I started off with the shade Lapis Lazuli, and I put that on like the inner part of my crease. I'm trying something a little different here. So I blended that all out, and it blended really nicely for a blue. Then I went in with a smaller blending brush with the shade Pink Tourmaline, and I applied that kind of like in a wing shape along the outer part of my lash line towards like the tail of my brow. Then with a small flat brush, I went into the shade Cheroite, and I kind of just like deepened up that wing. I concentrated it and stamped it on in the inner part of the wing. And I loved how much depth this added. Then I went into the shade Alexandra. So in this footage, it looks very blue, but to me at the time, it looked purple. So I started to apply that on, and this is when things went wrong. It looked really blue on my eye, and I was thinking it would kind of like blend into those purple shades. And I decided I was just going to commit to it. Then I diffused the edges. I'm using one of the new What's Up Beauty brushes. Really enjoying it so far. Yeah, I had to kind of just commit to the all blue look, covering up all that purple I just put down. As you can see, I'm not too thrilled. With a flat brush from What's Up Beauty, I went into the shade Opal. This is a bit of a textured shade, but I wanted more of a precise application because I didn't want to completely cover up that like matte I placed in the inner crease. So I applied it using that brush. It applied really nicely. Then I went into the shade Kunzite, and I applied that on my lower lash line with a flat, dense brush. I went in with a pencil brush with the shade Opal and kind of just added a little bit more to fill out that blank space. As you can see, I did get a little bit of fallout, but it swiped away easily. And here is a finished look. I was not thrilled during the process, but I actually really like how it came out. Kind of a slay. Let me know what you think. Then for the second look, I started with the shade Cherry Opal with a small blending brush, and I started to apply a wing shape on my outer corner. I used to feel like this didn't really look good on my eye shape, but I feel like it actually really does look good. I don't know. But anyway, this red blended so nicely. I haven't had a red blend this nicely since the BH Cosmetics Cherry on Top palette. You guys remember those palettes? Then I went into the shade Garnet, which is this like deep maroon shade, and I stamped that on just to add a little bit of depth. This one, again, blended so nicely into the red. Really impressed with the mattes, as always, from BellaBeauteBar. And then I don't feel like this step was necessary, but I wanted to see what the sequin shade applied like. So I took a dense flat brush and I kind of just like stamped that on the deepest part of the wing. Then I went in with my finger with the shade Red Obsidian. I totally forgot to apply glitter glue, and I think I should have because my eyes have been dry lately, but it's just not something I like thought to do. But anyway, it applied fine on just like my regular primed eyelids. So excited to get this red shade on my eyelids. So this is Star Ruby with a flat brush from What's Up Beauty, and I just put it on my eyes. It applied beautifully, and oh my god, the red glow was absolutely insane in person. It is so intense and vibrant. And here is the finished look. Love how this came out. I want to recreate this. It was so pretty in real life. It really made my green eyes pop, and it just, oh my god, the red is so vibrant. Okay, now let's get into some comparisons between other BellaBeauteBar palettes. So I have 3 other BellaBeauteBar palettes, and I know people are going to be curious to see if there's any overlap or similarities between palettes they may already have in their collection. I also am going to have a separate section where I compare these with my single shadows, but let's go ahead and go through each of these palettes. So first, let's do Recently De-Influenced, and we'll see if there are any similar shades in here. So I feel like just based on looking at these side by side, there are going to be some similarities. So let's start with comparing some of these mattes. I think Malachite RIP would probably be similar to the shade Monetized, but obviously we don't have that to compare. I guess we can let's do Drained from Recently De-Influenced. My arms are so dry because I've done so many swatches, so that's why these mattes are not swatching the best. Let's do Drained, Authenticity, Energy Vampire, and Lash Lighting from the Recently De-Influenced palette. And we'll see how these compare to some of the shades in the Bejeweled palette. For Drain, let's compare it to these 2 purples, Pink Tourmaline and Amethyst. So I feel like this shade, it looks like if you just combine these two together. So I think, like, obviously blending these two together would create a very similar effect to the shade Drained from the recently de-influenced palette. Then we can swatch Garnet next to this one, Charoite next to this one, and then finally let's compare, I don't know why I'm like doing it in this weird order, Cherry Opal. So we do have a little bit of overlap here between the two palettes, so just something to be aware of if you already have the recently de-influenced palette. Let's compare some of these shimmers too. I think we should compare Collab. We can do these two purple shades as well. So this is Bold Glamour and Screenshot. And then we can compare the two red shades, obviously, with the two reds in here. I think that's going to be probably where we see the most overlap. So Fake Famous. By the way, I'm cleaning off my fingers with a makeup eraser in between each swatch. So if you see me dip the same finger into the shades, that's why. Okay, so Fake Famous and, ooh, that was a heinous swatch. Depleted. Okay, so here are these, and then let's compare it to, I think we should swatch both Amazonite and Opal next to this top shade. Okay, so these both have a bit more of a sheer base. So Amazonite is more green, and this is more of like a pale, lighter blue, but they both have that like kind of blue to purple shift to them. And then let's do these two purples. So Kunzite and Ametrine next to the two purples from the recently de-influenced. So this is like reading more of a green in camera. I feel like this is like so shifty. It's like true purple to true green. But that's what these two look like compared. And then finally, let me wipe off my finger. Star Ruby and Red Obsidian. Star Ruby, Red Obsidian. Okay, so these are really similar, like very, very similar. I don't know if they're exactly the same. This one's a little bit more opaque, but like honestly, they're going to look the same on the eyes. So here are some shimmer comparisons between the Bejeweled and the recently de-influenced palettes. Basic Witch palette. I don't think there's going to be too much overlap in here, but I could be wrong. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, so actually I was a little bit wrong. I mean, there is definitely some overlap with these purples and pinks. Okay, let's just go start with the pink. We'll do Conjure. Let's do both of these, Black Magic and Hecate. Should we just do Coven just to see? I don't know. We'll just swatch it for posterity. And we might as well, I mean, if there's not going to be too much, let's do some of these shimmers. So let's see. Is there even any shimmers that are worth taking a look at? We could do Cauldron, because I feel like it might be similar to one of these. So Cauldron. And then let's compare them to Pink Tourmaline, Amethyst, Charoite, and then we can swatch Opal and Amazonite next to this one. Okay, so there is a little bit of similarities between these. This one, Basic Witch palette, is a lot smoother and it has a more sheer base compared to these two. And then these seem to be a little bit deeper and richer compared to the shades in the Basic Witch palette. So here are these compared side by side. Okay, and then the other palette, the last one for BellaBeautéBar, is the Sun and the Sea. So let's compare these. Let's try to fit it all on one arm just for my own, just for my own peace of mind. So we'll do Waves and Deep Dive. These look like these could be similar to some of the mattes in the other palette. Again, my arm is so dry because I've been doing swatches like crazy. So, okay, these two. And let's compare it to Lapis Lazuli and Tanzanite. I think there's a little bit more differentiation in tone between these two than the ones in the other palette, than the ones in the Sun and the Sea. Okay, and then let's do Bikini, and we can compare it to Pink Tourmaline and Amethyst. Okay, again, we do have a little bit of similarity between these two palettes. And then let's see, can we fit all the shimmers on here? In terms of comparing shimmers, I mean, we can do, let's do these like two bluish ones, Siren and Tide Pool. And compare it to these two that I'm swatching in like every single comparison. These are pretty similar, like texturally and in terms of color. Like I feel like these two are really similar. And then let's do some of the reds. I mean, okay, so we have Sunset and Heat Wave. And we can compare those to Star Ruby and Red Obsidian. Okay, so here I see more of a difference. So this is a lot more vibrant. It looks warmer compared to the one in the Sun and the Sea. And then this is obviously like a black from Straight On, and this has like more of a gray base. But anyway, here are these comparisons. Hopefully these are helpful if you already have a BellaBeauteBar collection and you don't want to add too many duplicates if you're trying to make a decision. But now let's get into the shade by shade comparisons with some singles and shades from other palettes, and then we'll wrap this video up. Okay, so let me know if this palette caught your eye or if it's going on your wish list. For me, it's definitely outside of my comfort zone, and I was very much a trust the process moment for those looks. I think I would use it more as a companion palette, but I'm super excited about the singles. Let me know your thoughts, but that's going to be it for this video. I hope you liked it. Hope you found it helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel if you're not already. And other than that, I will see you in the next one. Bye!